Welcome to DJMTV.
My correct people will greet you now. Welcome now to DJMT.
Yes, so my people, not be small thing o. This protest gbege with for inside Naija, the thing e don dey go dey increase, not be small my people. Naija state do their own o my people. Right now Kano state don dey street o. They don dey the street of Kano dey protest o unto hardship wey dey say President Tinubu na im cause am. My people, no be small thing o. As e dey hot like this the cost of living for Naija no be news again o. Everywhere high, everywhere tight. Anyway, those of una wey never see the news, I go play una this video now for my rise. Una watch am, una hear wetin dey happen for Kano and how dey take analyze this whole matter for our rise. Una watch and no forget to like and share. We dey come back.
Government grapples with reviving the economy. The impact of the high cost of living is becoming more acute. To draw the government's attention to the current situation, some residents of Kano State have staged a march calling for a lasting solution. Arise correspondent Ayo Adenaye reports.
The protesters, who are mostly youths, were seen carrying various placards along Airport Road and also along Murtala Mohammed Way in Kano Metropolis and chanting, "We want subsidy on petrol back, open Nigerian borders, address the rising fall of the naira, people are dying of hunger, all due to high cost of food." They also claim they can no longer send their children to school due to financial constraint.
What our leaders are doing to us, the masses, is so unfair, and we have been pushed to the wall. Life is so difficult. Our children can no longer go to school due to hunger and our inability to pay their school fees. Prices of food items keep increasing on a daily basis. Our borders are closed. We want it open.
We are really suffering in this country. A bag of local rice in the market is around 60,000 naira. We can no longer afford it. Our children are just sitting down at home. There is no money to pay for their school fees. This is not what we expect from the government. The youth vowed to mobilize more people on the street to show how unhappy they are over the rising cost of food items in the market, as they can no longer afford it. They are asking President Bola Tinubu to urgently open Nigerian borders and also restore the payment of subsidy on petrol. The closure of Nigerian borders is one of the major things that plunged the country into serious hardship. Also, US dollar is not our official currency. The naira needs to be strengthened, and we want the government to continue the payment of subsidy on petrol. Since it was removed, prices of food and transportation have increased.
There is hunger, there is poverty in the land, and there is no money. Things are so expensive in the market. The prices of food items keep rising.
Just last week, scores of women, including widows, took to the streets of Kano to protest the increase in the price of flour in the state. The protesters, who sell local bread, also known as gurasa, while marching on the street with placards on Friday, lamented that the soaring price had crippled their source of livelihood. Ayo Adenaye, Arise News, Kano.
Thank you very much, Ayo Adenaye, for that report. Rufai, welcome back. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
Your take on this story, please.
I'll start with a song this morning. Bob Nestamali and the Wailers had a song when they sang very strongly. They said, "Me belly full and them hungry. An hungry man is an angry man." And I'll tell a story. On the 14th of April 1979, about 41 protesters were killed in Liberia because of rice. President Tolbert then in Liberia went ahead to say what some of our leaders are saying today. The cost of living in Liberia is low compared to other parts. So when I hear the reaction of some people in the presidency saying, "Oh, the cost of living in Nigeria is low compared to other countries in Africa," I say, please don't miss the point of being sensitive to the plight of the people. Many haphazard decisions that we've talked about ad nauseum anyway is causing the problems we're having. And for the protesters that they were saying that, oh, they should bring back subsidy is still being paid one way or the other. And also, The currency that was floated, we talked about it. We said we should be better prepared before we make these decisions. But we said, oh, subsidy was gone without planning for it. And now we're facing the problem. High cost of everything, inflation over 28%. Some of the protesters were right when they said it was the border. Yeah, because the beginning of the rise of inflation was because of the border closure by the last administration in a bid to spur local production. But has that led us? Nowhere. So we're round in circle. But the question is, what's the solution? What are we going to do about it? At first, the president promised that they were going to cultivate a lot of farmland across states as a means of palliative. Where are those farmlands? I think they should be cultivated. Secondly, we must be able to increase grain storage in this country. I know we have a strategic grains reserve. Is this the time to release grains and all of that? Thirdly, what are we doing to combat post-harvest losses? Because that's another big problem. It is not the fact that we don't produce. Yes, we do not produce enough, but what we even produce is lost to post-harvest losses. Close to 50% or over 50% of the things we produce goes to post-harvest losses. So we need to find a way to be able to fix that, our vegetables and all of that. Most importantly, add value to what we produce. That's another part we need to look at. And look at how we can pretty much change the agricultural value chain, bring back the security, because most of the farmers cannot go to their farm because of insecurity. When we solve this problem, we can be well on our way to helping the situation.
Okay. Well, food, right? Yes. Nigerians protesting as a result of hunger. Yes. And we have seen protests on the streets of Niger State. We have seen protests on the streets of Kano. And this will not be the first time this would happen. Before now, there have been protests as a result of the cost of living crisis that the country faces in Port Harcourt, in Rivers State, and also in Ibadan, in Oyo State. And we have seen similar incidents in other parts of the world. In Ghana, it got so bad at a point that the people of Ghana, in less than 2 years ago, trooped to the streets to protest about the high cost of living in Ghana. When the people are hungry, the saying goes, they become angry. And many will remember, again, historically, the French Revolution, 1779 to 1789, when you had the French Revolution. Part of the problem was as a result of crisis with food, people not having, access to the food. You remember that famous phrase, if the people say they can't find food, why don't you give them cake? Even cake. Even cake to eat. Why don't they eat cake? Even cake was not available. Post the COVID pandemic, hunger, cost of living was also a major problem across the world. We had protests in Italy. We had protests in Spain. We had protests in as far as Ecuador, Mexico, because people could not eat. So feeding the people. Food insecurity has been appropriately recognized by the World Bank as one of the major causes of social tension in the world. And here in Nigeria, we're faced with it. People say they cannot afford local rice, they cannot afford millet, they cannot afford groundnut oil. Now, in Niger State, the police said they applied minimum pressure to take the protesters off the streets. Well, I hope a day will not come when minimum pressure will not be able to take the people off the streets. In Kano, Governor Yusuf this week held a meeting with the business community and appealed to them to try and help the state government. That he and his deputy are willing to help the people, but they needed to be helped. The business representatives who were at that meeting themselves said, we too are in trouble. We are victims of multiple starvation, taxation. We are victims of foreign exchange problems. We are victims of insecurity. So government is helpless. The business people are themselves helpless. And Kano which used to be a center of commerce, is now a center of hunger protests, incidentally. The Minister of Finance and the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment met yesterday with representatives, with a delegation from Germany. And this same issue of cost of living crisis and the fact that the federal government is now concerned came up. Over 90 companies from Germany are operating in Nigeria? How many Nigerian companies are in Germany? So it's not bilateral talks with the Germans that will feed Nigerians. Both Wale Edun and Anote, I think that's the name of the lady, Doris Anote, the lady in charge of the MITI, said, oh, agricultural production is the solution. How do you do agricultural production in a country where people cannot go to the farms, where there is so much insecurity within the food basket of the country? So the government has a major challenge on its hands, truly. And I think people should just desist from mouthing the mantra. If our government is going to look at agricultural production, there will be high yield during the dry season. All that talk is just empty textbook talk. That does not work. Government has to look at how to at least feed the people. Even people that you think belong to the middle class, they are hungry. The far-reaching implications of hunger is anger, and that's what we're beginning to see.
Hey, my people, not be smart, how una visit this one matter, how una see am. Make una drop una comment, so make una not forget to like and share and follow us on all our social media handle. DJMTV. Una do well. See you all in the next video.
DJMTV. DJMTV.